Hello again, guys. We are on, I guess it's actually the third page of our foldable. It's our second shape that we're going to find. This is called a net. When you spread it all out like this, when you're unfolding a shape, remember my shape's over here, that I have a hard time pulling apart. But this is like the rectangle that we just did. It's very similar to that. And when you open it up flat like this, it's called the net of the shape. So we are finding the surface area of 3D shapes by looking at each shape and adding them together. So this next one is a cube, and they've unrolled it this way, and ours looks more like a plus sign or a cross. And what do you remember about a cube? Well, they're made up of squares, right? And they're all exactly the same. So if I find the area of this one, that's the same area as this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So this next one ought to be super simple. We know that every single side of every single square is going to be 6, correct? And we know area is length times width. So 6 times 6 is 36. Well, that means if this one's 36, so is this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So I have 6 squares that are all 36 centimeters squared. So when I add them together, I can either say 36, 36, 36, 36, and to keep going, or quicker way would be 36 times 6, which would be 216 centimeters, what? Yep, I heard y'all say it, squared. Good job. All right, our next shape is a square pyramid. And the reason it's a square pyramid is it's named for this bottom part, which is a square, and then pyramids always come up to a point. So we know since the sides are triangles, it's a pyramid. Looks like this one. Square, and then because they come up to a point, pyramid. So we have to figure out, excuse me, we have to figure out the area of the square, which we know that's pretty easy. Then we have to figure out the area of this triangle and all of these other triangles. And if you think about it real hard, the area of, or sorry, not the area, the dotted line in that triangle right there always means what? A dotted line always means height. So we know this is the height of this triangle. And if you look over here, this triangle and this triangle and this triangle, they all come up and meet in an exact point, right? So when I put it back in my plastic cube over here, it all comes together. So that means they are all exactly the same height. So that means when you have a square pyramid, all your triangles are going to have a height of 6. So every single one of those is going to have a height of 6. And every single one of the bases is going to be 4 because this is a square. And on a square, you have the same sides. So this is the tricky part. A lot of you forget to do this. Well, on a square, it's pretty easy, right? 4 times 4 is 16. But now on our triangles, what's that formula again? Base times height divided by 2. That's the part you guys forget, okay? So on this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, we're going to do 6 times 4 divided by 2, which is 24 divided by 2, which is 12. So that means each one of these is 12 centimeters squared. And I know that gets a lot of numbers in there, guys. That's why I circled them. So then, to find the total area, which is what we're doing when we find the surface area with nets, we're going to come over here and write 16. And then when we can write 12 4 times, or we could have said 12 times 4 is 48, and added all those together. Whichever one you want to do is fine. So 48 plus 16 is 64, and it's 64 centimeters squared. So don't forget when you're finding the area of a triangle that you divide it by 2. That's the most important thing to remember. All right, I'm going to stop this one, and I'll pick it up again with our next video and our next 2 pages.